All right, everyone. So if you're watching this, 9 chance out of 10 you picked up one of these, or you're just curious what's going on. So this is just like a little assembly video to put together these fingerboards, just kind of some items that you'll need. And this is just going to be like a speeded up version of it. I'm not going to actually put it together, just to save you guys the headache of having to watch all that. So I'll just go through and explain it kind of briefly, a couple tips that I've found to be helpful with doing so. So first of all, I highly recommend you get some Loctite, or you can use super glue if you're super generous with it, and that'll probably hold a little bit stronger than this will. This stuff will let you still take the stuff apart, but not as easy. So that helps. I use that on the but we'll get to that whenever I get to that part. So all right, so here's one fully assembled. This is one that I'm hanging on to here. This one's got some black trucks. All the wheels have little bearings, so they cruise pretty good. And then what you'll see in here is it's a little metal spacer that goes on before the wheel does, and then obviously the nut. So I usually assemble those first. So what I do, I put the spacer on, put the wheel on, and then I take and get a little dab of the Loctite, and then put the nut on. And you want to be careful not to, you could do it before putting the wheel on, but just be careful not to get it in the bearing, or else it'll lock the bearing up. And from using these, that's the first thing that I've seen to come off, is the wheel, if you don't put any kind of Loctite or whatever on it. I do know that they have like some locking nuts that you can pick up somewhere, but I don't have those yet. So these will be sold as completes too. I'll probably eventually offer some decks with some different graphics on their own at some point, but all right, next step, I'll quit blabbing here. So depending on what you got, they'll come with whatever color trucks. I think I have white, the white with blue bushings, and black, and some like just regular silver ones. Let me pull these in here. Regular silver. Let me see if I can spot a black pair real quick. The yellow ones will come with like this this purple, pinkish purple, or I can do those on another deck. So I'm not too sure how I'm gonna combine them together. I can't find a black truck. You get the idea. I guess they're on this. So so that black, white, silver, pink, and I think I got some metallic gold ones too. So and they all come with this little screwdriver that I'll just be a straight shooter. It isn't very good. It works good for the nuts, like for the wheels and the kingpin, but for the screws, it'll fight you a little bit. So I recommend, if you don't already have, picking up one of these. Not that I want you to have any added expense into this this little guy here, but they definitely help get you some nice leverage. One thing is the base on these trucks, they're not threaded. So what I do is I take the screwdriver, one of the screws, and I'll go through and just make threads in them before I fasten them to the deck. It just makes it a lot easier than trying to make the threads through the deck. It's a little bit easier with one of these because you can get some weight on it, and then it'll suck that base pretty tight to the deck. But that's the only downfall. But I do give one of these with it, and I've done it, so you can do it. Just like anything, patience. That's what skateboarding is all about, patience. So what I'll do is I put the grip tape on over top of the screws once you get those all tightened up and snug pretty good. Since they make their own threads, they are pretty tight, so you don't really need any Loctite or anything on those. But what I do sometimes is I'll pop these nuts off the kingpins, put a little Loctite on those, put them back down, and you will see after some use the bushings will need to get reseated, because they have some nice flex to them, but over time they'll want to pop out of there a little bit. So the grip tape, it's the foam grip tape, and I think it's way better than like the sandpaper style traditional grip tape. So what I do with this stuff is, let me get a little bit of room here. I'll peel the whole backing off, and I'll kind of hold it with my thumbs and get it to where I'm lining up straight on one side of the top of the deck, and that gives you one side you don't have to cut. And when you get it down there, you just push it all around, work it down good. And then what I do is I use a razor blade, and I just kind of scrape the side of it all the way around, and it'll just cut it kind of as it's going. Just, you know, comparable to using like a screwdriver or a piece of metal or something, putting regular grip tape on a regular deck. But for some reason, whenever you're trying to cut this stuff, it snags pretty good because of the adhesive on it. So I found it just kind of scraping along here does the trick. Doesn't leave it too pretty, but you know, as you use it, it'll wear down around the edges too. That's about it. I'm trying to think quickly if there's anything else I wanted to touch on, other than the, you know, the Loctite's important, pre-threading the truck bases, and other than that, you guys have yourself a good time. I appreciate it.